Hello there my fellow Holotable heroes, and welcome to another Grand Arena video. Now I've already done a video showing you how I'm recently been splitting the teams on defense. So if you're interested in the defense video, there'll be a link in the description below. In this one I'll be covering how I'm splitting my teams for offense, how I'm utilizing them versus different opponents. Just to give you a little bit of context, same as I did in defensive video, I'm somewhere in the middle of Cover 1 at the moment, and it's been really hard to stay there just because in every single bracket I've been, apart from week 1, where obviously skill rating we didn't have yet really. I've been bottom 2 in number of Galactic Legends, bottom 2 in number of relics, bottom 2 in speed modes, pretty much in every category you could imagine. Also GP, I'm in bottom 2 in every bracket. So I'm always, trying to see how I can spread my roster to create more teams for defense, more teams for offense, because all my opponents will have Lord Vader, all my opponents will have Mandalorian Scoundrel team, Mandalorian Beskar Scoundrel team, so they all have 2 teams more than me to use, and then most of them will have as well Dash Smuggler team, and some of them even Starkiller. So all my opponents have between 2 to 4 teams than me, so in order for me to be able to compete with them, I do have to a little bit spread out, my good characters, and maybe go a little bit lighter on defense, just because if I go full on defense, there's no way I'm winning because they've got more toys than me. So definitely, if you've seen my defensive video, you will not see lots of amazing, powerful teams on defense. I'm more offensive focused and trying to win on efficiency. So depending on your playstyle, depending on where you are at versus your opponents, you might need to adjust a little bit. But hopefully, just explaining you the teams that I am using here on offense, how I'm using, will really give you some ideas what you can do with your roster. Now, the main things when it comes to offense, especially if you're going a little bit light on defense, is leaving flexibility. So that the teams that you keep for offense, you can kind of mix and match the characters together depending on what your opponent puts on defense. So let's just first kick off with Supremacy Color Ran here with Watt, Night Sister Zombie, Daka, and First Order Stormtrooper. This is because all my opponents have Lord Vader, they all put him on defense pretty much. Now initially I started using actually Imperial Troopers versus those guys, if you've seen in one of my videos, but quite quickly the news spread amongst the community that troopers can counter Lord Vader. So then people try to switch up the teams a little bit to make it harder for troopers to work. So I wasn't able to get consistent results with troopers anymore, at least with my troopers, because again my Dark Trooper is only relic 6, so he's not hitting as hard, and other troopers are like relic 3. So I kind of hit the ceiling with what I can do with my troopers. So I started using this team now: Supremacy Color Ran, Watt, Night Sister Zombie, and Daka. But then everybody started putting Throne in there to try and stop this cheese team, and that's why I've shown you in one of my previous videos. By using First Order Stormtrooper as the 5th, if Zombie does get fractured, you still have First Order Stormtrooper tanking there for a couple of turns, while obviously until Zombie gets out of fracture. So this team can then still easily handle any sort of Lord Vader lineup. As we know, CG is looking into it. I'm pretty sure they will, maybe after this season end, they will make some changes to make this counter go away. But until then, I'm using it. I know it's a bit expensive one because, you're losing Supremacy Color Ran, Watt on board there, that is perfect to be used now with Maul and Mandalorians, and you're losing Night Sister squad as well. Personally, Night Sister ones, I don't mind at all. On defense, they're really, really useless in my part of the division where I'm at. And then also, if you do use them on offense, yes, they can, quite reliably take down Grievous, but it's going to be a low banner win, and that is not something that fits into my strategy here when I'm always the underdog in every match. So I don't mind using Night Sisters. The only thing that I kind of do miss is Watt on board, because Mandalorians really need a fast character so they can get going with Maul's Frenzy. Now speaking of Maul, ideally, yeah, you would use Armor there as the 5th. She's fast. You can make her really fast once she's relicked. She gets to go first, and then you can get your whole turn meter train rolling. Now, but because most people will put their array down on defense, then Armor goes in with Sith Eternal Emperor, and with this combo you can pretty much take down any sort of raid team as long as you have your Sith Eternal Emperor modded for max health. You should be good to go. So that then what leaves me here is with Shakti. She's fast. So what I've been doing sometimes, I just put Shakti in there to start the 10-meter train rolling for Mandalorians instead of armor. And these guys, Maul Mandalorians, are very good just because of bows. They're unique. So if you do get some hits, you can recover lots of health and protection whenever you attack out of turn. So definitely a very solid team there to be used on offense for some high banner wins versus anybody. Sith Eternal, usually either solo versus General Skywalker 501st, you don't even need Waton armor there if you do have him modded for max health, or versus Rey, just throw in armor, get that Beskar going. You don't need to wait really for 3 stacks of Beskar. 2 is more than enough. You just need that really extra health. Now maybe versus really high offense Rey, you might throw in a couple of other throwaway characters there, just so the Sith Eternal Emperor can survive a couple of ultimates. But other than that, you should be good to go, to be honest. Okay, moving on. Now, Jedi, I really have 2 solid Jedi teams left. So one would be with Jedi Master Luke lead, or sometimes I would use Jedi Knight Luke lead depending on who the opponent is. And then on the other side, obviously it really depends how I mix and match my Jedi. In most cases, I'm left off with Master Luke and Bastila lead. Sometimes Revan and Grandmaster Yoda would move with Master Luke if I need to take down like somebody like Lord Vader or Jedi Master Kenobi. But again, Jedi, with 2 solid leads like Bastila and Luke, you have lots of flexibility between, splitting your Jedi based on whatever your opponent put on defense. Because remember, flexibility on offense is the main key here. Okay, and then moving on, here we come. So Zam Omikrum, she's great because obviously of the extra speed she gives out to bounty hunters. So suddenly bounty hunters can take out teams even without amazing speed mods that before maybe they couldn't. So really depends what you can do with these guys. They can take out Darth Revan, although I haven't tried it yet because I'm still working on the sequence there for the correct sequence of these guys, of the turn order. I'm still practicing that, but soon hopefully I'll be ready to take on Darth Revans with these guys. And then moving on to Hux. Now, before I was thinking to put these guys on I had them down as defensive teams, but now because everybody put Mon Mothma and Kyle on defense these days, I have seen some people utilizing Hux lead there, with the First Order squad to counter these Mon Mothma Kyle teams. Obviously, it's not going to be a high banner win because you have no way of recovering protection, but sometimes if you don't have a choice, it's maybe good to keep this in your back pocket, because obviously with Hux, when he has advantage in a full First Order team, he will prevent turn meter gains. So even if enemy, they do go first, they won't be able to get a turn meter trains rolling straight away, and that can then give you an edge versus those guys. Grievous here, similar, like I had him down as a defensive team, but again, could be an offensive team as well if you want. Obviously, this particular lineup can take out a lot of teams. Obviously, Grievous, why I personally do prefer to put him on defense, is because, any sort of team you will take down, you will be losing banners, even if they're not hitting you, because Grievous is killing droids by himself. But again, a very good team there, just because, we have now so many of these Omicrons and teams that are so fast. So have teams like General Grievous that, does need to be fast to take out down a very fast Mon Mothma team, for example. I know some people use even versus Starkiller and so on. So, Grievous is also a good option for offense if you want. Can even counter CLS if you need to some degree. Speaking of CLS, another team that I've been previously more leaning towards using on defense, I kind of more leaning towards being an offensive team just because of all these Omicrons and characters. They have all these extra turn meter gains, extra speed, and CLS like Grievous does need to be very fast to get going just because of the whole turn meter train. Obviously you can get out of the gate because Han shoots first. Moving on, Traya, I did have it on my defensive list as well, but it's a flexible team, can also be used on offense. Now this is probably similar like Grievous. It's good on defense for sniping banner, it's good on offense for taking out many teams that are actually faster, so it doesn't rely on speed, same like Grievous. But again, like Grievous, you're not getting high banner wins here because apart from Science Special, you have no way there of recovering protection. Now this particular lineup with Barris, I'm trying to see if this team can work versus Mon Mothma Kyle. Obviously Barry is there for some extra healing. But again, depending on, you know, how the match will go, do I need max efficiency banner wins, or I just need a win, then definitely, you know, this try team with Barracks can definitely get work done versus maybe Dash and as well Mon Mothma Kyle teams that, you know, pretty much everybody is putting on defense. Okay, so here we're coming to the Galactic Republic section of my roster. Obviously with Qui-Gon kind of, you know, being mostly reserved for defense and taking away Jedi Knight Anakin and Kenobi. Padme's place really and Ahsoka's place is with Jedi Master Kenobi now. And to be honest, at my level, you know, putting Padme team on defense, you're just asking somebody to solo it with Malak or something. So I don't think I've ever seen Padme team on defense since the new matchmaking has started, because everybody will have Kenobi and, you know, they go very well together. These guys, Kenobi, very flexible, obviously can take out many teams, all Galactic Legends as well. Whatever your opponent puts, this team should be able to handle quite easily. And moving on, I do have now kind of my Bad Batch up and running. Obviously Omega still farming her to 7 stars, you know, because, you know, farming the free-to-play way, it takes months before you get them, but she's almost there. But at least I've got the core up and running, and, you know, I've got very fast echo and tech. Also put some potency on these guys. Hopefully we can land those stuns reliably, and, you know, they can get the job done. Like I've taken down General Grievous there and used Cody as the 5th character actually instead of Omega, because at Gear 11 she'll just get smashed by Grievous's AoE, and they were able to quite easily get the job done versus a Relicate General Grievous squad. It's definitely Bad Batch, very good team to use on offense, especially because they got lots of ways to recover health and protection. So even if they do get, you know, a little bit steamrolled at the beginning, get a few hits, after they get their turns, they get their own train rolling, you know, you can by end of the battle in most cases recover most banners back. Then moving on, Palpatine here. So now actually as well, I just look at the Empire as a whole. I got 3 Empire teams here, because Empire now is becoming a very flexible faction, especially with Eden as well there in extra troopers. Now as you can see, these leftover troopers aren't that great, but I was in a situation where I was, you know, multi-shotting one team, and I just need to take one key character out. So just throw in Eden there, take out that one key character, and then I was able to clean up much easier afterwards. So even these kind of low gear troopers got the job done, because, you know, Eden gains 100% turn meter at the beginning of the battle. And then here, as the rest of the guys go, obviously troopers, these guys, it depends. Sometimes you would throw in Death Troopers, sometimes Gideon if you need extra speed and things like that. But I do like to use Gideon with these guys as well, because obviously they're not that particularly fast, so they can, you know, pretty much control. Moff Gideon can use control situation, and then you can get your things going versus many teams. And obviously troopers, you know, they can as well steamroll so many teams. They just maybe need to mix and match a little bit what you use between these two teams, and at some point I will be able to actually get these leftover troopers rolling, and then we are going to slap Omikron on Eden and have some fun. But it's probably still at least 6 to 8 months down the road, but something to look forward to. Alright guys, so these are the teams kind of that I'm planning to use for offense, but again, you know, depending on my opponents, depending on how rounds go, I may switch things up a little bit. I always do, because, you know, for those opponents that do check your history, it's always good to switch up things a little bit every round, just to, you know, throw them off, leave some surprise in the back zone that they weren't expecting. Hopefully that can then secure the win. Alright guys, thank you for watching. If you missed the defense video that you haven't seen it yet, again, there'll be a link in the description below where I go through the teams on defense, how I'm splitting my roster. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, have fun, enjoy life, and may the RNG be with you, my friends.